person who wrote this is one of the most meticulous writers of hadith. He is the most careful writer of hadith. He is the most scrutiny, most critical writer of hadith. And Ibn Hajar Asqalani wrote this book. And when he wrote this book, he wrote, "This book is my taweez to protect me from harm." I write this book in the name of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani as a taweez to protect me from harm. In this book he mentions, Ibn Hajar mentions that Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani's mother used to write him letters. Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani said, I used to look at the letters and I used to feel that my mother wants me back. She loves, misses me. She loves me. She aches for me. She has pain for me. So he goes, I will write back, Mom, if you want me to come back, I will forget studying and I'll come back and come be with you. And he goes, then my mother would write back to me and she would say, you carry on with seeking knowledge. One Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani says, I went without food for 20 days. 20 days with no food. I was a student of knowledge. There's no food for me. I went to places, but when I arrived there, there's other people eating, there's other people who are more hungry than me. Then I was on the way back to Baghdad. A young man from Jilan, I recognized him, he recognized me. And he said, your mother's given some clippings of expensive metal for you. He goes, I took that expensive metal, I went back to the Awan of Kisra, to the port of Khosrows, and I went there and I gave it to the 70 faqir there. And I gave it to them, and they said to me, what is this? I said, this is something my mother has sent, and I've kept a portion for myself. He goes, then I came back to Baghdad, and I bought food for myself, and I shared it with everybody. By the end of that day, I had no money again. I was hungry for 20 days, I shared the food with 70 faqir. I bought my food, I shared it with the poor people, the hungry people of Baghdad. And then I was hungry. Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani mentions another story, anecdote. Once I was so hungry, I went to the river to eat, and there's so many other people trying to eat leaves, grass, etc. The reports I've mentioned, that Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani will eat so much green stuff that his neck became green. Right? Somebody recognized him by his green neck. It is mentioned, he goes, I arrived there and there's too many people eating. I felt a bit ashamed. I came to the masjid and I sat in the corner. Who's saying this? Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani. He goes, I sat there to die for my hunger. Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani said, I sat there to die from my hunger. Because while I was sitting there, a young man from Persia, from Faris, he comes in. He walks in. He puts out some bread. He puts out some meat and he starts to eat. Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani says that whenever he lifts his food, my mouth drops like this. And I say to myself, what are you doing? This is his food. This is your taqdeer, that's his taqdeer. That's his muqaddar, this is your muqaddar. That's his risk, this is your risk. So I'm fighting myself, don't open your mouth. Because my mouth dropped again. Because the young person saw me. He called me over. He goes, come over and join me. And I said, I'm fighting myself. I said, no, I don't want to eat. It's okay, I don't want to eat. And then he did a qasam, he goes, I swear by Allah, come and join me. Because when he swore by Allah, I came and sat with him. Because when I sat with him, we got talking. He asked me, who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing here? I said to him, I am a student of fiqh. I am here studying. I am from Jilan. He goes, do you know Abdul Qadir? He goes, I know Abdul Qadir. He goes, I am Abdul Qadir. And the guy panics. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, your mother sent me with 8 pieces of gold. I have been looking for you, Ya Sheikh, for almost 3 days. I haven't eaten food in 3 days. Today was the 3rd day and I was so hungry. I was aching. So I looked into Shariah and he said after 3 days if your hunger is so painful, you can eat a bit of haram. So I've taken some money from your 8 dirham. This food you are eating, I am not the mehman, I am not the mezban, you are the mezban, I am the mehman now. This is your food, this is your money, your mother sent it to you. Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani then says, tell me about your mother. How is she? And he told her how he met, she called him. And then he said, he kept apologizing. He goes, I forgive you. Now you need to go back, take some money with you. So he gave him more money to take with him. And then he went and gave out and divided everything. Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi had a very special bond with his mother. One day, Almighty making his speech in Baghdad, the ulama mentioned, as he was speaking, he said, Matat Ammi. Matat Ammi, my mother has died. While he was speaking, he was giving dars. While he was giving durus, he never went back to see his mother. His mother used to write to him. Spiritually they would see each other, but physically they never met. And when she died, he said, Matat Ammi, my mother has died. And the scholars who were in his gathering, they noted the date and time. And then the news came, the mother of Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani has passed. Allah. My dear brothers, mothers and parents are a very special source of blessings and dua. The Mashaykh will tell you that the dua of a mother is like the dua of a murshid. Allah. If you have a mother, serve your mothers well. Mothers have a very tender heart. I was telling the children in my class, your mothers taught you how to walk, talk, how to go to the toilet trained you, taught you how to eat. They were there for you. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the mother of Sayyidina Ali Radi-Allahu-Anhu, when she passed away, when the mother of Sayyidina Ali Radi-Allahu-Anhu passed away, her name was Fatima, I think. She passed away. When she passed away, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to her grave. Went inside her grave, then lied down inside her grave, then turned right in her grave, then turned left in the grave, and then came down, then allowed for her burial. The Sahaba Ridwanullah Ta'ala Alayhim Ajma'in knew about Janaza, knew about Ghusl. This was something new. They thought a wahi had come to the Prophet ﷺ. Some new hukum had come to the Prophet ﷺ. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ, they asked, Ya Rasulullah, what did you do? Why did you lie in the qabr? Is this a new command? And they said, no. They were, I was raised as an orphan. Then I went to the house of Abu Talib. And in the house of Abu Talib, Sayyidina Ali's mother, every night before she put me to sleep, my bedding used to be cold. She used to get inside my bedding and make my bedding warm. And then when it used to be warm, then she would tell me to come and sleep inside. She made my bedding warm. I protected her grave from hellfire. Fire cannot touch her grave. Because anything that touches my body, fire cannot touch it. My dear brothers, I know sometimes this issue of Mother's Day and bid'ah and etc. Let's get past, but we are where we are. We are where we are. And we need to understand the psyche of the community and the people where we are living. They put this day aside to remember their mothers. I will say to you, we should celebrate the mothers and lead in this and show to the community that we respect our mothers. We honor our parents. We show love to our mother and father. The mother and father both, because the mother is a strong mother when she's there because of her husband. So the father and mother there to show respect to them, to seek dua from them. To this day, I tell you about my mother. My brothers are here, they will tell you, I don't buy anything without telling my mother. If I want to buy a pair of socks, I tell my mother. Even my brothers think of it straight. I want to buy a car, I'll tell my mother. I want to buy a house, I'll tell my mother. I want to go somewhere, I'll tell my mother. I have any issues, I'll tell my mother. I want to ask, I tell my mother. I have money, I give to my mother. I want to give chanda to a mosque, I ask my mother. I want to give donation to somebody, I ask my mother. I give zakat, I ask my mother to give it. My dear brothers, and mothers are special. The dua of the mother is like the dua of a mushrik. There's a hadith of the Prophet, a young man came to the Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, can I go to jihad? And the Prophet said, is your mother alive? Are your parents alive? He said, go and serve them. Awais al-Qarni, rahmatullah, one of the greatest of the awliya. Hazrat Awais al-Qarni, one of the greatest of the awliya. He didn't come and visit the Prophet ﷺ. Why? He couldn't actually physically meet. He did make the journey twice. According to some reports, one journey. He didn't make the journey, but he didn't visit the Prophet, couldn't meet the Prophet. Why? because he is serving his mother.
Subhanallah.
Mothers are a blessing. And I would say today in your homes, make a dua for your mother who lives in your house. Make a dua for the mothers of your parents. Make a dua for all Muslim mothers. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ, according to Imam Suyuti, when he announced his prophethood, he went to the grave of his mother and father, and he raised them from the dead. And he said to them, I am Muhammad Rasulullah. And they gave shahada and took iman upon him, and then he laid them back in their graves.
Subhanallah.
The love of the Prophet for his mother and parents, he went to the grave and raised them from the grave.
Subhanallah.
Imam Suyuti mentions this. My dear brothers, we need to understand the life of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani. He is the product of his parents. He is the product of the environment that he was in. Now just to share with you a few final utterances of the Sheikh. In this book which I have been reading, which we are hopefully inshallah publishing in the coming future, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, he is the greatest ghaus. From the beginning of time, right up to the end of time. He is on the mansab of Ghawsiyyat al-Kubra. I tell you myself, this year I have understood Ghaus Abdul Qadir Gilani better than I have any other year.
Subhanallah.
And mostly due to this one book. I have studied him before as a person, as a biography. I've heard about him. I wonder regarding Jami Sharif. What is Jami Sharif? Many things. Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani was Hasni from 11 sides, from his Hasni, from his mother's bloodline, is Hasni 11 side. He is the 11th descendant of Imam Hassan of the Prophet ﷺ. And from his mother's side, he was 11th descendant of the Prophet from both Hasni and Hussein. Secondly, Jami Sharif, it is mentioned that the time of Banu Umayyah, there used to be a state holiday on the 10th of each month. The people of Baghdad knew he was a big wali. They would get their paycheck. They would get paid on the 10th. And they would come to Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani and give him a little bit. Give him a little bit. Sheikh made dua for us. Others have said that Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani used to remember the birth of the Prophet to the 40th day. Up to the 40th day. And he would wait for 40 days, and the 40th day he would cook on remembering the leaving of the Prophet of this world, to remind people. Others have said that he would give Miladun Nabi every month on the 11th. And he did the 12th, and Allah Ta'ala made his 11th. Because he would prepare everything on the 11th, he would cook on the 11th night and the morning of the 12th. And his 11th has become associated with him. He is the only wali who has no dispute amongst the Shafis, amongst the Malikis, amongst the Hanbalis, amongst the Hanafis, amongst the Qadiris, the Sarwardis, the Chashtis, the Naqshbandis. No matter who you are, you love Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani rahmatullahi ta'ala. Allama Ibn Taymiyyah, one of the most critical writers of Tasawwuf, even he says that Sahib Bahajat al-Asrar, Imam Shatarofi rahmatullahi ta'ala, he goes that his biography, he got so many miracles about Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani. You can't say that he wasn't a wali. Everybody tells you about his karamat. Everybody tells you about his miracles. People can't lie about his muhammad. And there's even one report that Allama Ibn Taymiyyah used to send wood to the langar of Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani. I want you, my dear brothers, to understand the Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani is the greatest of awliya. Just to remind you, the head of the Naqshbandi order, Khwaja Bahuddin Naqshband Bukhari, he was a Sayyid. Mu'ayyid Hazrat Mu'ayyid Chashti Ajmari was a Sayyid. Sheikh Sahabuddin Sharwardi was a Sayyid. Sheikh Sahabuddin Sharwardi was directly linked to Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani through blood ties. Mu'ayyid Chashti Ajmari was a contemporary of Sayyid Abdul Qadir Gilani. When he announced that my foot is on the neck of the awliya, wherever they were, whichever place they were, they heard this spiritual call, they dropped their heads. They said, ala raqabati, on my neck. Some said, ala raqabati, ala raqsi, on my head, and on my neck, on my head. Others said, Sheikh Bahuddin Naqshband Bukhari says, but ala aini, your feet are on my eyes. Subhanallah. Hada Khwaja Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam. He used to go to the gathering of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani. He would send the awliya to the gathering of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani.